Hi everyone, hope you can hear me. I'm always paranoid that my microphone's not plugged in, so let me just check on here. Good evening, great to see you all. Let me... Live now, apparently. Good. Excellent. Okay, welcome to my live stream. As promised, I am live streaming from my hotel room in Denmark. I'm here for a couple of days. I fly home tomorrow with Tropica, the Danish aquarium plant company, awesome company. And I'll explain more about that later. But as promised, I am going to go through some of the questions I asked on my YouTube community tab the other day, and I had quite a few questions, some of them really good, and I promised I'd answer 5 of them, so that's what I'm going to do. Let's just say hello to everyone that's joined. Cool, really cool to see you. Hey, Jimmy, Candy, Fire Splitter, James Sheen, hello mate. Sportvid, Shane Hewitt, Cameron, Blue Waters, Michael Cooper, Martin, Redfern, Alexandra, Dominic, Bonkers About Alice, such a cool name. Carlos, let me know where you're all from, guys. Be always cool to know where you're from in the world. Manchester, Norway. Touring, I think that's Denmark, awesome. Can I mail you some tissue culture plants? That's a bit cheeky. Inez Silva, hello, you're a regular, I don't recognise your name. Yeah, those are cool people. Thank you for joining, really appreciate it. Just a standard announcement, if you are enjoying the content, give me a thumbs up. It really helps to promote the video to more people on YouTube, and that's what it's all about. Hello from California. Hello. Texas, Andy Lees, Germany, Ohio, Rotterdam, Belgium, Denmark, yes. Someone's just asked me why I'm in Denmark. I am doing a bit of work for Tropica. I'll explain more about that later. Yeah, really cool to see you all. So 78 of you watching, awesome. So I'm not sure how long I'll be on tonight. It's been a bit of a relentless couple of days, so I do want to hit the sack fairly soon. Time will be on 9:30 local time in the evening. So let's have a look at the questions, shall we? Any of you on the stream right now, do you ask me a question on the community tab? That'd be cool to see. Yeah, if everyone can share this on Facebook, that'd be cool. So jump onto your Facebook groups if you're a member of any fish keeping Facebook groups and share it. That would be really appreciated. Share the love far and wide. YouTube. Community, bear with me. Okay, here we go. So 25 comments. So the first, I'll just read through them all. If they're easily answerable, I'll answer them now. So Cat PK, hiya George, just wondering how you could make this your career. I'm just about to set up my first plant at Aquascape, inspired by your 1200, and I'm already loving just doing the hardscape. Love from Australia. Hello. I made this my career basically by just being an obsessive hobbyist. Started writing for magazines, and then it kind of progressed from there. It's a really long story. I've actually got a full video, I think it's about 40 minutes long, about the journey from full-time employment in the Air Force to now what I do. So quite an interesting journey, I guess, for some people. And yeah, just check it out. Just search for George Farmer Professional Aquascaper on YouTube and you'll probably see the video that way. It's probably the easiest way. Drew Langton, hi George, is it possible to create an Xmas aquascape? If so, what plants and fish would it have? PS, hope you get time to enjoy Xmas. Obvious one would be like white sand to sort of bit of snow maybe. Christmas moss. So yeah, if I had to do a Christmas theme, it would probably be sort of pine trees maybe with Christmas moss, and then maybe sprinkle some sand on the moss to make it look like snow is kind of settling on it. But it's not my taste really, these kind of themed aquascapes. For me it's all about the nature aquarium, which is the essence of nature rather than directly copying something from nature, if that makes sense. Fish Tank 123, hi George, would you ever consider doing an in-depth video on how to start an aquascaping store? You don't have many of those in the States, mostly fish stores, very few plants. You have access to a couple of great stores in the UK. Maybe you could interview one of the owners to see how they got started. What kind of capital investment was needed? Really interested in that someone's love to see. Thanks, keep it up, the good work. Would I ever do an in-depth video on? Probably not. It's not a business channel. It's more geared towards the hobbyists. I have helped a couple of 2 or 3 stores out in the UK with their shops. I've recently helped set one up from scratch, Scaped Nature in Norwich. Shout out to Ray, he's probably watching. Check out some previous videos. You've seen me done a couple of collaborations with Ray McCune, who lives in Norwich, and he's opening his aquascaping store on the 26th of January. So Norwich, England, check it out, 26th of Jan. I think he's got his own Facebook page now, so check that out, Scaped Nature. Yeah, and I was really honoured to be asked to help him set it up from, like I said, almost from scratch. So he had the main business plan, and then I gave him just some consultancy advice and things. So yeah, capital investment and all that I'm not going to talk about. Lee Colbeck, hi George, do you know what has happened to Cryptocorani wendtii flamingo? It's been out of stock everywhere for about a year. Is it gone extinct or something? It isn't commonly available. It used to be produced by Tropica. I think they did the 1-2 grow of it, and I don't know the answer, as simple as that. Guess is that it wasn't selling very well, or was difficulties in production. I wasn't a huge fan of it. Like a really sort of bright pink plant. It just didn't look very sort of natural. And for me, aquascaping is trying to get this sense of, you know, beautiful nature. And you do see pink in nature, but not really so much. Bonkers about Alice, I know you're watching, hopefully you're still watching right now, asks, hey, I dose first once a week. Can I divide this by 7 and dose a smaller amount each day? Which is best, once a week or a little each day? Definitely a little each day. I would suggest I always dose daily if I can. If I'm at home and I remember to ask someone to do it for me. But yeah, plants in my experience prefer little and often rather than one big dose. And actually you can slightly overdose if you want to. If you've got a healthy plant and tank system, better to overdose than underdose. If you underdose, you run the risk of running nutrient deficiencies, and there's nothing more algae loves is a poorly plant. So plants have a brilliant capability of actually taking on more nutrients than they actually need. It's called luxury uptake. So like I said, better to do too much and not enough, definitely. Bonkers about Alice again. A bit greedy with your questions. How long do Tropica 1-2 grow pots last before you have to open plant them? Depends on the species and depends what conditions you're keeping them. So then ideally you need to have some lighting to keep them kind of going. And the optimum temperature is about 16 degrees Celsius. And depending on the species, mosses will last years, but some sensitive sort of stem plants might not last so long. So not an easy question to answer, but at least a couple of weeks in good conditions, definitely, probably more. Samuel's trimming stem plants to the Same height repeatedly. Is this okay, especially the Rotala species? Can I maintain escape long term using this method? Yeah, you can. Eventually, when you trim a stem plant, where you trim it from, two new shoots appear. And then if you trim from those two, you're going to get 4. And eventually you kind of get this umbrella effect. So you get a huge kind of mass of plants and then one stem at the bottom. And actually the stem underneath all of this umbrella is getting no light, so it dies off. So you can do it for a certain amount of time. Eventually you're best off trimming off your growing portion, obviously the top part of the plant, which is growing. If you grow that and then replant that, then you can kind of start that process all over again. Hopefully that makes sense. Anjum Asmail, hi George, I've set up my 90 by 45 by 50 centimetre tank using ADA soil and Brighty K and green Brighty mineral on my daily dose. My hygrotha Lipinita feeder leaves are melting. I'm using a Solar 1 metal halide, 150 watt, 8 hours a day, and CO2. Don't know why that you should be succeeding. My guess would be you've either got a poorly plant, more than likely a poorly plant, because there's no way you should struggle growing that plant in those conditions. So you've probably not got the healthiest plant to start with. So if you can get the tissue culture version of a plant, most of them are kind of already adapted to their submersed state, so they start growing straight away. If you buy a lot of plants are grown emerged, so they're in their emergent state, which means they're grown out of water, which means that they're not adapted yet to underwater growth. And if it's not the healthiest plant to start with, then it's really going to struggle to make that adaptation. So by buying the tissue culture version, you are going to be much more likely to succeed. Mark Snoop, looking forward to your next video, chum. My question would be, how do you successfully swap over a small aquarium to a larger new system? I'm swapping a 60 centimetre, 60 litre over to the Aquascaper 600, good lad, and looking to transfer over all plants and wood. Would it just be better to start from scratch? Cheers. I wouldn't start, if your plants are healthy and you like your hardscape, then yeah, transfer it over. If you want a new start from fresh, then start from fresh. It's entirely up to you. There's no right or wrong answer for that one. Sarah W. Hi Sarah. Hi George. In vitro plants in distress here. It's a love-hate relationship. I seem to continuously have problems in getting a good start with them. Sometimes all, sometimes just a few seem to die on me. Maybe my question is useful for more people. Any special tips, I'm guessing you're saying, in increasing the chances of success? Enjoy your time in Denmark. Thank you very much. Like always, buy the healthiest plants you can to start with. I think a lot of people fail on this. Unfortunately, a lot of retailers don't look after their plants so well, and they'll keep plants longer than they should do on the shelves, which is understandable because throwing plants away is basically throwing money away if they're not selling them. But have a chat with the staff of the shop and then see when they're getting their next shipment of tissue culture in, and then buy them as soon as you can. And that way you're going to get the best likely start. Other than that, you're going to have to focus on your plant system. I'm just looking through the stats of your tank. You've got Monte Carlo, Nutricularia, Colombo, yeah, good, got good CO2, blah, blah, blah. Well, the Monte Carlo you should be fine with, especially if you buy it fresh, but the Utricularia is a nightmare. I haven't actually managed to grow it yet, and I think I'm all right at growing plants. So yeah, I don't know why, lots of theories. Doesn't like new substrates apparently, likes softer water I've heard as well. I think it likes the water a bit cooler. So yeah, try any of those sort of things. Oh, there's a lady called Abigail Farmer, what a cool name. Would you ever consider doing the Welsh Dad method aquarium? I know you do a lot of very technical stuff. Just wondering if you'd attempt it after your budget. No CO2 tank. Would I do a Welsh Dad method? It's not on the top of my list. Basically, if you don't know what the Welsh Dad method, it's like the dirt tank method, which I know Dustin Fish Tanks likes to do. Basically, garden soil or some sort of compost under the bottom layer and then top it off with gravel or sand, and then you're relying on that huge nutrient content in the soil and the kind of all the processes that are going on creating CO2 to actually benefit the plant system. I've got Diana Welsh Dad's book, Ecology of a Planted Aquarium. I've read it cover to cover, and it's just not my thing. I'm into creating. I'm into aquascaping, which is creating underwater garden, underwater art basically, and that means having more access to different plant species and not being limited by the growth conditions, which you are really in a Welsh Dad method tank. It would be worth trying it out, I guess, just to say that I've done it and maybe see what plants I can grow. But at the moment, I've got kind of too many more prioritising scapes to think about. So at the moment, probably not. Okay, guys, let me just make sure. Loads of people. Wow, awesome. Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks to my mods. I've got a bunch of mods, so shout out to Candy and shout out to Jimmy as well. I don't know if Lizzie's on. I've got 3 or 4, and Rachel, 3 or 4 mods this evening, hopefully, which is good because I have some nasty trolls. Okay, let's go back to the questions. I'll answer one more, guys, and I'll jump on the chat and we can have a good old chat. T. Casper, how are you doing, mate? I think it's Tommy. He's a big contributor to my channel, so I really appreciate all your commentary. Tommy, if his name is Tommy, I do apologise if it isn't. I'm just going to call you Casper because that's a cool name as well. He's a really, really clever guy by the sounds of it, and he always comments on my stuff and normally gives me constructive criticism, which is fine, which I really enjoy. So keep up the good work. He says, well, the weather's here is not great. This is true in Denmark, but it's warm at Tropica, so you're in the green there, pun intended. So will dinner tonight be beer and crisps in candlelight with Yuri's, just like the last time? No, Yuri's isn't here, unfortunately. He's very busy this week, and I know he's off to, I think he's off to Green Aqua, and he might even, I think he might be seeing Adam as well, Adam Pascala. So I'm a little bit jealous, but I'm actually really looking forward to having a weekend off this weekend. So yeah. Okay, guys, that's it for the questions. Now I'm going to jump on the stream and have a chat with you guys. Okay, let's have a look. If you do want to be guaranteed a question answering, let's do a Q&A now. What time are we on? Okay, I'm going to do 15 minutes Q&A, quick fire. Let's see how many questions we can do. Do me a favour, someone's watching. Let me know how many questions I'm going to answer. I'm going to go super quick. It's going to be good fun. If you want a guaranteed question answering, just leave me a super chat. Just leave me the minimum amount. I'm not interested in making huge amounts of money. It's just so I can identify who definitely wants a question answering. So let's go for it. Cameron Proctor, love your work, George. Do you know any aquascaping shops around Bristol? Bristol is southwest. No, the nearest one I can think of that I've been to recently is Gloucester Way, which is Aquajardin, Gloucester, which isn't that far from Bristol. Aussie Lloyd, can very hard water affect plant growth? Yes, it has very hard water has a high sort of carbonate hardness, which can affect CO2 uptake. So yes. David Shanahan, will Tropica bring out more kinds of tissue culture plants out? They are slim on stems, in my opinion. Yes, that was an easy one. Barnabas Roy, hey from India, planning on making a Mano style nature aquarium, 36 gallon long. Any tips? Yeah, just look on the internet, look at Amano's books and aqua journals for inspiration and copy something. That's my tip. Mickey Sears, can too much lighting damage low demanding plants? Not really. There isn't really a maximum light. If you think about the sun, you're looking at a PAR in direct sunlight of probably like 600 or 800. Most aquarium lighting won't get much above 200 if you're lucky. So probably not. The biggest worry you'll get is algae if you have too much light. Palindreng 93. What moss would you put on a bonsai tree? Mini Christmas moss. Fire splitter. What do you think about passing the water through activated carbon block when performing the maintenance water change? Good idea. It will get rid of chlorine and any other nasties that might potentially be in there. Dominic H. Microsaurus slowly turns black and dies with proper fertilation. Possible cause, probably lack of circulation. 30 questions, lol. Best diffuser, not including reactors, definitely the Aquarium Neo diffuser. John Hopkins, is Tropica planning to become more available in America? It is. You can talk to any retailer, and any retailer in America can order direct from Tropica North America. So it's not Tropica's fault, really, it's the retailers. So speak to your retailer and just tell them to order from Tropica North America. Oh, past the dirt road, George. What hobbies do you have besides photography and scaping? I love running. I went for a 6-kilometre run today whilst I was at Tropica with the product development manager, Charles, who's 6'10", and every stride he took, I had to take 2 strides, so that was quite funny. What other? I don't really have any other hobbies. I don't do computer games. I used to when I was a kid, when like the SNES and the Mega Drive. Yeah, just running. Love running. Running's like a really important part of my life, definitely. Siamese algae eaters, good for new setups. Not in my opinion. They're really big. They get really boisterous when they're older, and I'm not a big fan of them unless you've got a huge tank. Otherwise, they can be quite a dominating fish in that tank. Barnabas Roy, any thoughts of going to Japan and visiting the aquascaping shops? They are beautiful. I would love to go to Japan. I just need the right opportunity and need to pay for it. It's super expensive. So yeah, something to think about. I'm going to do lots of travelling in America, hopefully next year. That's my biggest priority. Wassa Lol, hi. I know you've seen you do lots of stuff on my channel, thank you. Hi George, I upgraded to Twinstar 600S and I've started getting lots of algae on the plants and glass. Any advice, please? More water changes. Make sure you do the water changes as last part of the process of maintenance. Trim off the worst effective leaves, give it a really good clean, make sure your filter's clean, make sure you've removed as much accumulated waste organics as possible. Buy more plants, fast growing plants, look after those plants, and then hopefully your algae will be fine. What's the best LED for a 55-litre aquarium? It depends on your budget, depends on what you want to grow. There isn't really a simple answer for that. Blue Waters, can you see any problems using fluorescence with T5 and LED together? No, not at all. There are some light units that do hybrids like that. It's just more light, so just control it if you can, or make sure you've got the appropriate setup. So loads of light, you need loads of CO2, loads of nutrients, loads of circulation, loads of plant growth, loads of, yeah. Aussie Lloyd, have you ever done anything with the Green Machine? I believe they have closed down. Yes, I did a workshop there, 2009, visited there 4 or 5 times. Bon Jovi, do you think microsoil turning black leaves because ammonia rising in column? No, plants use ammonia as a nutrient source. Unless you've like poured ammonia in. Ammonia created by fish waste, etc. A healthy planted tank will just deal with it. Any tips for dealing with hair algae in a 4-week-old scape? Running CO2, adding liquid ferts, doing water changes every 2 days. All algae, I get questions on algae every day. It's all to do with healthy plant growth and a well-maintained aquarium. A well-maintained aquarium and really focus on healthy plant growth. More plants you have, the better you look after your plants, the less algae you get. So the hair algae will be a result of a kind of an imbalance somewhere. So you've either got not enough plant growth, too much light, too little CO2, too little nutrients, you're doing enough water changes. So yeah. Ciao George, what What about kept Hygrophila pinnatifida as an epiphyte plant? Will it grow long term? Do you think it's better to grow? Yeah, definitely you can grow Hygrophila pinnatifida as an epiphyte plant. Just make sure you dose it with enough liquid fertilizers. John Hopkins, are you tending Aquashella in Dallas or Austin? I hope so. Yeah. Might have some super exciting news about that. I can't say anything more than that. But yeah, you'll find out in a couple of weeks. J Cod, how quick does Rotala grow? Just planted 1 to grow. Depends on your system, but you should see growth in a couple of days. Really quick. Tissue culture, we don't want to grow really quickly because they've adapted to this underwater form already because they're growing under like a liquid, so they should start growing straight away. Dang George is killing it. Love the Q&A, thank you. Fire splitter for a GH of 5 and a KH of 4.5. Some plants show twisted, smaller new leaves, which looks like calcium deficiency, but can it be with such GH? What could cause that? Well, GH is a mixture of calcium and magnesium, so you might have super high magnesium and really low calcium, so don't necessarily, just because you've got a GH of 5, it's not really the perfect indication of calcium. So it could still be a calcium deficiency, but curling leaves aren't just calcium, there can be other things as well. But just when you're looking at remedying it, just look at altering one parameter at a time, otherwise you'll never know where you are. Dave B, hey George, where can I buy Tropica plants online to deliver to the US? I don't know. Contact Tropica North America and they should have someone. Go on the website, go on the Tropica website, should be able to find something on there if you've not looked already. Vita Hum, examples of non-CO2 carpet plants, please. If you look at my budget aquascaping playlists, I use Monte Carlo and Helanthrium tenellum in there quite well, non-CO2. Okay, getting some real sort of technical questions. Someone's struggling with, Barnabas Roy struggling with hair grass. Sounds like their system's really good, so I would suggest it's probably a poorly plant to start with. Ian Moore, low tech flue valve 34 litre. What flow would be best without it being a washing machine? Well, it comes with a filter, so just use that. I've just set up a flue valve flex 57 litres, which is going to be non-CO2, budget friendly. Be a video soon, hopefully, on it. And I'm just relying on the filter that it comes with. Yeah. Rob Williams, how would you prepare your fish for a week away at Christmas with no feeding and no neighbours to help? Fatten them up. Just feed them every day, a few times a day, little and often. Really small fish might struggle for a week without food, but bigger fish will be absolutely fine. If the system's mature, then there should be little critters that they'll feed on if they're really hungry as well. Lucio Garayo, what do you think about the Kessel A360X? Don't know, not seen it in action, so I can't answer that, I'm afraid. ADM, hi George, are shrimp still readily available nowadays? Shrimp stores seem to have closed down. They're available in, I think most maiden aquatics do them. Most retailers should do them, like at least basic cherry shrimp or mono shrimp. They're certainly on most wholesalers' lists. So yeah, you might struggle to get really rare stuff, but check out Facebook groups for shrimp breeders. There's loads. If you're really desperate, let me know. I can possibly send you some, so send me a message. What are the benefits? John Hopkins asks, what are the benefits of trimming plants? Basically, you're promoting new growth and you're maintaining the tank. So if you don't trim the plant, it's going to grow really long. It's going to affect circulation around the water column. That's going to create circulation dead spots. That's going to lead to accumulated waste and you're going to run into algae. It's an aesthetic thing as well. If you don't trim a plant, it starts to look ugly and unruly and the aquascape looks wild. Some people like that. When you trim a plant, it stimulates new growth, which is great as well. But yeah, loads of benefits to trimming plants. Big T, 1754. Oh my God, I got a super chat. Boosh, $10. Thank you very much, Derp. After using flat one for a while, what's your opinion? What do you prefer, ADA RGB versus Kessel? and why, except for price? Wow, that's lots of questions, but thank you very much for the $10 super chat. Really appreciated. I like the flat one. I had the one that sat on the aquarium. I would have preferred the pendant version in hindsight. I found the greens super rich, almost too rich compared to the other colour renditions. And it almost felt like a bit of a waste because it's also set up for marine lighting, so you can use the blue LEDs, which I never would do. So it kind of, I was like paying extra, potentially I was sent it, so I didn't actually pay for it, full disclosure. But if I did pay for it, I'd be like, well, why have I paid, paying for something that I'm not using? I'd rather just go for a freshwater or marine. It's my personal taste. But yeah, great colours, really powerful, but probably quite expensive. I'm not sure what they retail for. What do I prefer, ADA, RGB, solar or Kessel? I'm going to have to say the ADA, if I'm honest. The colours are just like the richest I've ever seen from any light. I do like the Kessels, I like the shimmer effect. But yeah, I do like the solar RGB at the moment. I've seen lots of lights, I've played with lots of lights, and out of them all, I prefer the colours. And for me, as an aquascaper, it's all about how the aquascape looks. It grows the plants as well, obviously. But yeah, the aesthetics of the unit itself, as well as the colour rendition, are amazing. But I like twin star lights. I use twin star at home, and I think the price performance ratio is some of the best out there. Big T 507054. Hi George, thanks for your content. Just found your channel and had my first delivery from Aquarium Gardens, Aquascaping my other 100-litre South American tank in the new year. Any advice on plants? South American tank, so basically I'll go for anything from South America. You've got Staurogine, Heteranthera, Echinodorus, Limnobium, what else from Liliopsis? Yeah, Liliopsis is from South America. Cabomba fucata is a nice one, if you can get hold of it. It's a red one. I'm not a big fan of the regular Cabomba. Staurogine, we've said. I think that's all I can think of right now. Maybe Prospernica. I'm not sure if Prospernica is from South America. Draper, stunted Pagostemon. Should I throw the top and let the stump sit and try and regrow? It's worth a try. If it's stunted though, there's a reason it's stunted, and potentially by trimming it, if you've not addressed the cause of the stunting, maybe unlikely you're going to get new growth. So, Dominic H. Can you jumpstart growth in old plants that didn't grow much so far by changing conditions for the better, or is their growth permanently stunted? You can definitely change a plant by improving the conditions, absolutely, yeah. So more light, more CO2, more nutrients, more circulation, better maintenance, boom. River 81, did you ever made a video on the growth difference between keep plants hard or soft water? No, not yet. Dave B says, Candy, you're always killing it on these chats. Yeah, Candy is awesome. Thank you so much, Candy. Danny's Aquariums, how you doing, mate? Willie Mead, for freshwater Fluval, Evo or Flex? I've not seen the Evo, I probably have, but I can't remember. The Flex is nice, but it's got like this bow front, like this way instead of this way, which I actually prefer. I hate that way because it looks like a lens. But this way looks okay. I'm thinking I might struggle with like decent macro photography because of the nature of it being curved. You're not going to get perfect optics. So yeah, I don't know what the Evo is. If it's flat glass, then I'll probably go for the Evo, even though I've got a Flex at home. The Planted Tank says, I love you. I love you too, the Planted Tank. Thank you so much. School of Science 1878. What a great username. What's the significance of 1878? Let me know. Pennywort. I don't know why you said that, but it's a great comment. Anthony Stroud, hey George, I missed the start. What are you doing in Denmark? Great live chat as always. Ant, thanks Ant. Okay, it's 10 past 10, it's nearly my bedtime, but I'm gonna have a little chat about Tropica, okay? Full disclosure, I am sponsored by Tropica, so I'm not, that's just a full disclosure thing. I'm sponsored by them because I approached them because I love them so much, and I thought it would be a mutually beneficial thing for them to sponsor my channel. They've been supplying me plants on and off since 2006, so what's that, nearly 13 years ago. I started writing for Practical Fish Keeping magazine, which is the UK's best-selling aquarium magazine, in 2006, and I was writing about planted aquariums. So I approached Tropica, I emailed them, and I said, hey, look, I'm going to be hopefully contributing regularly to this magazine. I will be using your plants potentially. Would you like to supply me plants and liquid fertilizers and substrates and everything? And they were like, yes, please. So brilliant. Got free plants, happy days, and it really helped me out with my aquascaping because it's not cheap buying new plants. If you want to become a good aquascaper, you need to practice. By practicing, you need to create new aquascapes. To create new aquascapes, and you want to try different species, you need to buy new plants. So it really kind of facilitated my growth in the aquascaping world. So that was really important for me, that this relationship with Tropica. And we had a really good relationship, and then I took the plunge into full-time self-employment. And then about a year ago, I had a chat with their CEO at Interzoo. We've had several chats over the last couple of years, but things got really interesting, and a bit of a kind of exclusive. Some of you may know already, but I'm helping to develop an e-learning library of videos, which are not going to be public. But don't worry, you will benefit from them because they're going to be accessible by retailers. So they're specifically designed business to business. So they're not like my normal YouTube content where I'm hopefully quite personable and make things quite accessible. They're very much business orientated. So they're not aimed at you guys, and you guys will probably find them quite boring and a bit too formal. But the benefit is that hopefully these videos will educate retailers, and then hopefully the retailers will pass the knowledge on to the customers. My vision is hopefully more and more stores around the world will have the knowledge to create beautiful display aquascapes. This is going to inspire customers. Those customers are hopefully going to learn from that retailer, and aquascaping will kind of proliferate this way. So for me, it kind of ticks the box of promoting aquascaping. It ticks the box of educating and inspiring. So that's basically why I'm doing Tropica. I come here every month and we work on new video content basically, and other ideas to help promote aquascaping and planted aquariums worldwide. So that's why I'm at Tropica. And I got to say, one of the best companies I've ever worked with. They're really collaborative, really forward thinking, not afraid to invest. Really nice country. I love Denmark. So many runners out here. Went out for a run last night, and I must have seen literally 60 people running just on the streets. There's some crazy statistic, like there's one in 3 or 1 in 4 people in Denmark run, jog or whatever you want to call it. So I'm going on to running, aren't I? So that's why I'm in Denmark. Not long story short, that's the story. Barnabas Roy, it's because they have nothing to do. Is it just me, dude? Has a retailer ever accidentally killed an aquascape you did in their store? I think so. Yeah, probably quite a few. It's always lack of maintenance, and it is. I do empathise. We all have busy lives. They might have other priorities, and they can let the maintenance slip. And then once you get into the algae, and you don't maintain it regularly, and then the algae gets worse and worse, and it's time to just kind of forget it and start again maybe, or just strip it down. So I do understand. It is a shame, they've probably paid me for a workshop to do the aquascape, but it's really sad that that potentially inspirational aquascape isn't there anymore. to hopefully inspire the customers and you know, actually act as a business tool for the shop. You know, a decent aquascape in a retailer will up their plant sales by 10 times on average. So it's kind of their own loss really, but I do understand. Merry Christmas to you and your family, says John. Thank you very much, John. I'm from Denmark, says Zelo TS. Hello. School of Science, 1778. You've done well, George. You should be proud. Thank you very much. JH Aquatics, how you doing, Joseph? I hope you're well too. Thank you. 60 people were running away from you, says Pure Primrose. No funny. Kevin, your aquascapes are excellent. Thank you very much. Zelo TS, what's your worst aquarium story? Love from Denmark. Oh, I had a tank leak. Yeah. I bought some glassware and the actual glass was too small for the diameter of the hose and I didn't realise. I did some tank maintenance, put the hose back on, came home and the hose had fallen off and siphoned all of the water out. It was a 240 litre aquarium, which is what, 80 gallons, 60, 70 gallons. And it's the back siphoned all the way down to the inlet of the filter inlet. So yeah, there's about 100 litres, so 25 gallons of water over my floor, carpeted. Emma was away, my fiance was away, the kids were away, so I was on my own. So I basically got all of the towels out of the entire house, dried up as much as I could, and then used a special like Vax machine to get as much as I could, and it's still really wet. And then dried all the towels in a tumble dryer for bloody ages, and then did that again with the towels. And then eventually I had this really old school studio lighting, which was actually like tungsten lamps, which are really, really hot. So I got these tungsten lamps, and actually I think they were like 2,000 watts each. I think I had 3 of them, and I put them like about a foot above the carpet and then moved them around and basically burnt off, steamed off the water from the carpet, and you could literally see steam coming up from the carpet. I kept an eye on it, obviously, for the fire hazard. But yeah, I managed to dry the carpet off. It took me ages. I think I was up all night. I think I was up to about 2 in the morning. But the carpet was really clean. I actually cleaned the carpet because I'd rubbed the carpet so much with these towels and washed the towels and did it again. Actually, what worked as like an epic kind of cleaning session on the carpet, and it kind of gave the carpet a new lease of life. So every cloud has a silver lining, as they say. Pure Primrose. Yeah, I didn't reseal it. It was the hose that fell off the glassware, so nothing to do with the tank leaking itself. It was more from the filter put hose. Ricky Miller, how do you scape a corner tank, please? I've done a couple of corner tanks, so just standard big background plants, maybe Amazon swords or Vallis in the back, dominant hardscape, foreground, and then crypts, standard mid-ground plants. Yeah, nothing too complex personally. Okay, no, it's not the first. Okay, guys, I'm going to sign off soon. I've just been hit by a wave of tiredness. I think I was up at 5 this morning. Yeah, so thank you so much for joining. How many people? 127. Thank you so much. Give me a thumbs up, guys, if you've enjoyed it. There's 126 of you watching. 124. So let's see how many likes we can get. Boom, hit the like button, guys. I tell you what, if we get to 70 likes in the next minute, I'll stay on for another 5 minutes. This will be a good test if actually people are enjoying the content or not. No one's liked it. You obviously don't want me here then. I'll say cheerio. Oh, 78. Wow, that went up quick. Oh, I was feeling sorry for myself then. Boom, thank you guys. Have you ever thought of making your own aquariums like Joey does? No, not really. I'm not skilled enough. I've never been good at DIY. I prefer to pay someone to do it for me, and sort of support the industry and support businesses that way. It's not to say that it's bad doing it yourself, but I just don't think I'd do a good job of it. Everyone's got their skill sets, and mine isn't DIY. So yeah, that's answered, isn't it? Barnabas Roy, what's your dream aquascape tank? Oh, I don't know. I do like big tanks. I do want to set up a 6 foot by 2 foot by 2 foot at home. I've got room for it now. I'm kind of thinking of. I'm struggling, to be honest, guys. I've got 4 tanks at home, and only any one time or 2 of them looking any good. I do need to do some updates on my home tanks. I'm aware of this, but I do so much travelling these days. It's really hard to keep on top of it. And when I get home after doing like a weekend of scaping or setting up a client's tank or whatever, it's just a fact of life that you don't really want to work so much on your own tanks. So I'm thinking of going like down to 2 tanks. Maybe keep. I think I'm going to keep the 1200. I love that tank, and maybe a nano, and then maybe a bigger tank. So 3, because I do like the nano. I love my Betta cube. I love the Betta. He's awesome. That needs a huge update. The plants are super healthy. The fish is amazing. He's like a little pet now. Every time I go to the tank, he's up there ready for some food, so I'm hand feeding him. The 1200 is looking amazing. It's nearly a year old now. And yeah, the 600, it's got the pisto babies in. They're grown into nearly adults now, so I need to kind of rehome them. The budget tank, I'm thinking of chinning it off totally, but I've now got the Fluval Flex 57, which I want to keep going for at least 3 months. I'm going to use the Tropica 90-day app, if you've ever heard of that. It's really good. But yeah, let me go. What do you think, guys? Would you like me to do a 6 foot by 2 foot by 2 foot? And if so, what should I put in it? I really love discus. I really want to go down discus again. But they're really, things with discus, they create so much waste. So you need to do the big water changes, and I haven't got time for that. Oh, what should I do? 6 foot by 6 foot by 2 by 2. Maybe do something crazy. Maybe do like paludarium in it. Maybe go like super shallow water with loads of stuff coming out the top, which is much lower maintenance. Oh wow. Big T, 1754. Have a pint on me from fellow ex-RAF. Thanks, Big T. What's your name, mate? Do I know you? Have we served together? Remember to do some self-care. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, Barnabas Roy, something like Lisboa Aquarium by Amano. That would be epic. Joshua, hey George, I'd like to know what your favourite carpeting plants. Oh, I love them all. Really like Eleocharis Mini. I really like Monte Carlo. I like Hemianthus. I like Glosso. I like Calanthium Tantalum. I like Marcellea. I like them all. I don't really have a favourite. If I had to have one, if I could only ever have one carpeting plant ever in my life, what would I go for? Probably mini hairgrass, Eleocharis Mini. Oh, Big T was in the RAF a long time ago. Okay, mate. Ian Moore, Amazon Biotope. Pure Primrose, what happened to your low-tech tank? It's still going, it's still got the green neons in there. I've moved the Bolivian rams in there as well. But it's just ticking over. The plants aren't looking great. I'm doing water changes, but I'm not maintaining the plants, so I need to do an update on that. I'm actually thinking of giving it away as a present to someone. Maybe give it away as a present and scape it for them for Christmas. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? Pastor Dirt Road, thank you for your service, gentlemen, from a US Marine. Yeah, cheers, mate. All right, loads of comments, guys. Thank you for joining. It's really appreciated. Let's see if we can get the likes to 100. I love a challenge. Shall I tell you some jokes? I'll tell you my favourite ever joke. If I get 10 people, if I get to 100 likes, so there's 8 more. If you've not liked it, hit the like, and you want to hear a cool joke, then hit the like. Got Got 2 dislikes. There's always some haters out there. But they're watching it, aren't they? So that's good. Thanks for watching. Wait, 100 likes. Okay. Are you ready? This is my favourite joke. I think it's hilarious. It's really short. What bees make milk? Let me know in the comments if you know. What bees make milk? Boobies. Yay. Oh, Candy got it. Oh, Andy got it. Well done. Yeah, that's a good one, isn't it? Love that one. See, I've got some other jokes, but they're all really rude. It's like children friendly, my channel. Yeah, I can't really tell rude jokes, can I? Okay. I want to chat about other stuff and aquascaping. What should we talk about? Brexit? No, let's not talk about that. It's boring. I voted Remain. I was gutted. I'm really fearful that all this travelling around. I do a lot of travelling, and now we've left the EU. I do a lot of travelling around Europe. I just wonder how it's going to affect me in like passport queues, and we rely on a lot of products from Europe, like aquascaping products. A lot of aquascaping products come over from Europe, and I wonder how it's going to affect things like this. Yeah, it's just a bit of a worry, if I'm honest. Anyway, I don't want to talk about politics. Bought a new computer. Invested in a refurbed 2017 MacBook. So absolutely changed my life. I do a lot of travelling, and I've never been able to edit like my SLR footage on the fly, which I can now do. So it's going to help me create more content for you guys. So that's a win-win. I'm from Germany. Can you speak German? Ja, kleiner. Ich bin 41 Jahre alt. Mein Name ist George. Ich möchte Weißbier. Famous James does more like me, more like you needed. Yes. Lee Arkins, why were you late for your gallery exhibition about 9 years ago? I don't know. I don't know what you mean, mate. Sorry. Z8. Oh yeah, those are. Did I ever meet Amano? No, I didn't. Unfortunately, that was sad. Willie, hi George. Merry Christmas to you and your family. Thank you very much. That's lovely. Okay, guys, I'm really struggling now. I'm sorry. I'm going to have to go. Thank you so much for joining. Thanks to my mod team for helping out. Jimmy, Lizzie, Candy. You know who you are. Really appreciate it. Yeah. Okay, you take care. Keep on scaping. Cheerio. I'm so tired I can't even find the end button. How do I? It's awkward. Oh, I'm trying to stop the chat on my laptop. I have to stop it on my phone because I'm streaming from my phone. So that's how tired I am. Wow. Cheerio. Boosh. Love you guys.